In this video, we're going to make a weekly MACD. I have that plotted behind me here from Micron. This is to take out the day-to-day gyrations of what a daily MACD would give us. This just gives us a clearer picture of what a stock is doing over the long term. If you know how to make a daily MACD already and plot that in Google Sheets, you will not need to watch this video necessarily because it's pretty similar. But if you want to be walked through it, I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. We're going to be using the 5 and 35 exponential moving average for the MACD line, and we'll use the 5 exponential moving average for the signal line. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to be walked through how to plot that on Google Sheets, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I need you to do is just go and sell A1, put any ticker you want. I'm using Micron, and sell I1. I just get the price off of what that ticker is, so you can just put this formula right here in. I'll also click on this. You could pause the video for a second here, and it's right there in the for you to look at, and that's what you put in I1. We're going to make a chart and put it all in here. We're going to make it look nice later on, but for now, we'll just go ahead and get our data in. The next step is going to go into cell U3 and just go ahead and put this formula in to get our table back with our close prices, our open, high, low, date, and the volume. And also, you can see that right there. So just pause the video for a second and put this formula right here in cell U3. Now the next step that I want you to do is just go ahead and put all these headers the way I have them. I'm just going to unmerge this one. So this goes into cell AB1, and then I merge these three because all of these three columns are working for the MACD. We're going to be doing work to get the MACD, and then we'll get the MACD in this column. I'll put all these the way I have it, put 5, 35, 5, everywhere where I have the labels, go ahead and put them in. And then at the very end, we'll get all this data over and we'll put it down here and make it clean so we can get a chart. So go ahead and put these headers in the way I have them. The next step right here would just be to, in cell AB3, type in equals 2 divided by, and then open parentheses, this number right here, plus 1 close parentheses. And then you'll do the same thing for this, but you'll reference this. And then you'll do the same thing for this one, but you'll reference this cell. Now, one more step that we're going to do before we start is we're going to work from the bottom up. And if I start to scroll down, now we don't see those numbers. We want to be able to see these because we're going to be working off these numbers. So just highlight this little hand right here on my left top corner here, and you can just left click on your mouse and pull it down. We want to freeze the first 3 rows. Or you can highlight these 3 columns. You can go up to view, freeze, and then just freeze up to row 3. Either one will work. So the next step here is we're going to go down to the bottom from 2 years ago and work our way up to get our averages, because it works better than if you do it in the opposite direction. So if I had 2023 here and was working down to 2025, it just doesn't always come in clean. It's kind of the data as a transition. Sometimes it's missing information and you constantly got to update it. If you do it from the bottom up, you won't have to update it. So we'll go down to the bottom and we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells up, and we're just typing equals average. And we're just going to grab our the last 5 prices from 2 years ago, closing prices, and then we're going to close parentheses, enter. So we get the average price from these 5 periods. And then we're going to go one above that, and we're going to type in equals, and we're going to grab the next cell up for the close price, 102, and then we're going to subtract out these 5 averages, the last 5 period averages, and then open. You want to put this in brackets, so open parentheses, close parentheses, and then we want to multiply this by this number right here, and we want this to be constant. So we're going to lock this in with F4. So you should have a dollar sign on the left of AB and the right of AB, and then you're going to add this back to this number. Now that gives us our exponential moving average, and we can just drag this all the way up to the top, and we get our data. Now I've gone ahead and done the calculation here. We need to go to, if you're following along and you're in the same rows I am, to row 73, and we need to get, that will give us our last 35 periods. So we're just going to type in equals average again, and we're going to go over to our close price here, 73, and we're just going to pull that all the way down and just close that with our brackets, hit enter. And that's just a parenthesis brackets. And then we're gonna go one above that and we're gonna type equals, and we're gonna grab our next close price up in Y72, and then subtract out this average right here. And we're gonna put that in brackets, our parenthesis brackets. And then we're gonna multiply that by this number in cell AC3. And same thing, we're gonna lock this in So we wanted the F4 function, and you want the dollar sign to the left of the AC and the right of the AC. And then we're going to add it back to this number that's below it. And that gives us our 35 period. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to pull this up. And that gives us our 5 and 35. Now we can work from the top down for this right here. We're just actually going to type in equals. And we're just going to take this minus this. And that gives us our MACD. And we can just take this and we can pull it down. And I'll just pull it down to where we stop here. Now to get our signal line, we're going to go up 5 spots from here. So we're going to go count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's just going to be equals average. And we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to close those parentheses, and that gives us this number. Now we're going to type in equals, and we want the next one up from these 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want the one right next to it. And then we're going to subtract out the one below it here. We're going to put that in brackets. And then we are going to multiply this by this number right here. And same thing, we're going to lock this in. So we want the F4 function, and you need dollar signs to the left of the AE and the right of the AE. And then we're going to add it back to this number. And that gives us our signal line. And then we're just going to go ahead and pull that up to the top. So now we're going to just subtract, we're going to get our histogram, and to do that, all we need to do is subtract our single line from our MACD line. So it's going to be equals AD4 minus AE4. And then you can just go ahead and drag that down. And that'll give us our histogram. And we can just drag it down to there. Now the last thing we're going to want to do is get whether or not it's a buy or a sell. So we're just going to type in equals if. And we're going to grab AD4 is greater than AE4, our single line, and then comma, quotations, we want buy. Close quotations, comma, and then quotations sell. So if it's not greater, we'll get sell, and then close parentheses, enter. So this will give us a buy if this number is greater than this number, and if it's not, it'll just give us a sell. And then you can go ahead and pull that down. Now we're not going to chart the buy or sell signals. We're just going to go ahead and, plot them, and you can put them in wherever you want. You can just look them up, pull them over and look them up next to your chart. Now the last thing we're going to do is this kind of comes in messy, so we need to get this in order. So we're just going to type in equals, open curly brackets, and we are going to grab 1 year's worth of data. So I want you to grab everything from U4 down to U55. That'll give us 1 year. And then comma. And as long as you're doing this for the same amount of rows, so we're going to do from row 4 to row 55, you can do it this way. And then we are going to grab we're going to grab all 4 of these right here, the last 4 columns, from AD4 to AG55. I got to redo that. Just do it again here. AG4 to AG55. Because it has to be the exact same amount. And then close curly brackets, enter. That should bring all of our data back right here. Now we do want to chart this. We do not need to chart the buy and sell signals, but we can hide all these because we've done all our work. And we're charting from this. Now you can do whatever you want. I would unfreeze these rows now. So you can just highlight this and go to view and freeze, and then just put freeze no rows. And then I take this right here all the way over to the price, and I merge all those cells. And then same thing here. And it depends on your screen size. And then I take this, then I go back and I do freeze the first 2 rows. And then I take all of this data, all these cells right here, and just take them and all merge them because our chart can sit right in there. And then we're going to go over and we're just going to highlight all of this data right here. And we have exactly 1 year. So you can just highlight all that. As long as you have it all highlighted. Actually, we don't want it all highlighted. We just want the first 4 columns highlighted, not the buy sell. And then go into insert chart. Now we need to make this chart a little different because we don't, this comes in all lines. We don't want this all lines. We need to first make this a combo chart. So you're going to go down, you're going to go to where it says setup, and you're just going to go down here where it says chart type and change this to a combo chart, which should be, you'll see a line chart, then a smooth line chart, and the third one to the right is a combo chart. So now we have a combo chart, but we still have problems. This isn't coming in right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to customize. We're going to go to series, MACD. So the MACD is coming as columns. So we don't want this to come in as columns. We don't have to come in as a line. So we're going to change that to line. Now we got to go to signal line. That is coming in as a line. So that's fine. We need to go to histogram. That's also coming in as a line, but we don't want that to come in as a line. We want that to come in as columns. Now we have our MACD, but we still have one more problem here. The way we charted this, everything's in the wrong order. So we want to click on the date right here, which is going to be your horizontal axis, and just put this in reverse axis order. Now our MACD is coming from, this is a year ago, and this is our most recent close price on a weekly time frame. Okay, so now you have your MACD. I paused the video there and I just put it in that little set that we merged. If you click on this, you can change a lot of things. You can just click on anything here and change it. Like, I don't need it to say all of that, so I'll just click on that, and then I just take all this and I get rid of it and hit Mac. Just call it MACD. That's good enough. You can make it bold, and you can change the colors and all that other different stuff. You can do a lot of different things here. You could, I make the background black, turn all the numbers white, and just make it look cleaner. However you want to visualize it. But now you have a MACD. So this is the micron MACD, and you can see we crossed, we came down, and now we're crossing again. So from on a weekly time frame, that looks bullish, right? Because we're in the early stages of a MACD weekly cross, and the MACD weekly cross is the first indication that a stock is gonna go higher, in my opinion. It also is the first indication from the top when it goes down that a stock is going to go lower. But you can get rejections. You can see that we had here, we came just below the MACD. The MACD came just below the signal line, but then came back up. And then over here, we came above the signal line, but then we came back down. And now we have a second cross. So you really were 1.78, and right now it's at negative 2.85. So you would almost consider this like a resistance line. And if we break above that, then it could be off to the races for Micron. It's not a guarantee. It's just another parameter, another way to look at using an indicator to determine whether or not you want to buy or sell a stock. That's really all I got for you. I don't want to, you can change this chart up however you want. There's lots of other things you can do with it, but that's all I got. If that was helpful, consider hitting the like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching the video.